Whoa, what's this? Game Freak? But that must mean this is a Pokemon game. And if you can't tell already, it's a Pokemon game starring Pikachu, star of the hit movie, I presume. I don't actually know at this point. Detective Pikachu. We're not doing the actual Detective Pikachu game, of course, because I don't own it. But I own this, and when I said a while ago that I wanted to start at the beginning of franchises, I was serious. That is what I want to do. And this isn't the very first Pokemon game, but it's the first generation of Pokemon games, and I think it's the best of the first generation. It's similar enough to Red and Blue that it's not like we're missing anything if we skip those. I mean, it's the same story, what little story there is. It incorporates a bit of the anime stuff, which is kind of neat. It has a couple of decided advantages. And you get a Pikachu to follow you for the entire game. Why would anyone ever say no to that? So this is the game we're going to do. This is going to be, as of the time it gets posted, the longest series, probably by far, on the channel. JRPGs take a long time. This is going to be my first foray into doing a Let's Play for one of those. And we're just going to play normally. This isn't a Nuzlocke. This isn't anything. I may do a Nuzlocke of a Pokemon game at some point. I have a friend who wants to record that with me. It's just finding the time. But I did want to just I want to play the Pokemon games, and I figured this is the best way to do it. We'll just start at the beginning. We'll do this for however long it goes, and then eventually I'll get to Gen 2, and then Gen 3, Gen 4, and that's actually as far as I've played on my own, just for fun. The last one I played was Diamond, and I played that a lot of hours. Like, I sunk a lot of time into that. I played Black, and I played Moon, but I didn't get very far in those. I think in Black, I got to the maybe third gym, the electric gym, whatever that is. I can't recall. And then in Moon, or Sun, whichever one I got, I can't remember. I think I got through the first gym, which is like a tutorial. They're not even gyms in that game, because you're on an island and they don't call them gyms, but they're effectively gyms. And I did not play much of it, and I got bored, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was just too easy or just not fun. I couldn't tell you, but I didn't beat them. I didn't play much of them. It was probably less than 10 hours on each of them. But I figure if I have this sort of commitment via this Let's Play channel, that's enough motivation to actually go and do it. So we'll get there eventually. I don't anticipate playing another Pokemon game for a bit. But we're going to do this one, and it's going to be fun. We do live in a post-Detective Pikachu world right now. That isn't why I decided to play this. Although, the timing would have worked out even better if I had recorded this and finished it and posted it as the movie was coming out. As it stands, it's going to go up about a month afterward. So we'll see if it was a huge hit, or if it underperformed, or what have you. I saw it on the Wednesday before it came out. I saw it at a screening. I was, and still am to an extent, a film critic, so I sometimes get those opportunities. And I liked it. It's a bit thin, mostly in plot and character. But for those of us who grew up with Pokemon and wanted to see it translated to live action, that's about as good as it's gonna get for the first iteration. I believe, anyway. If you're watching this and you've never played, never experienced a Pokemon game, first off, welcome. You are probably very old. Or very young, maybe. don't understand what these sprites are. It's weird they have the 3D models now. But I will go over the basics of it. Probably won't be talking as much gameplay as a game that's more difficult and not as repetitive. You'll see there, I lost the first battle of the game. It basically comes down to whether or not, I mean, if you get lucky, if they tail whip several times in a row, then you win. If you get a crit, then you win. You could just growl and hope, but basically that battle doesn't matter. Pokemon games, for the uninitiated, Pokemon, the creatures, are just animals with various magical or elemental attacks, and you dogfight them. They apparently like it. You have to capture them first. You have to throw balls at them, which are then their little slave cages. And then you can take up to 6 with you, and you fight other Pokemon. There are type advantages, like Pikachu is an electric type, Pidgey is a flying type, electricity beats flying, therefore his thunder attacks are super effective. There's a whole tree to memorize, and it's a pain, but that's the gist of it. The grass that you see there contains wild Pokemon, depending on the part of the region you're in. And the main goal of the game is to collect 8 gym badges and defeat the Elite Four, which are like super bosses, kind of. But I mean, they're part of the game, so not really. They're just better than the gym leaders. The gym leaders get progressively harder, but your Pokemon get progressively stronger as the game goes on. And the first game came out in like 96, I want to say. Like, these are old games. And it's still going. It's a worldwide phenomenon. If you don't know what it is, that's on you at this point, honestly. You should have at least some knowledge. And you'll get an idea as the game goes on. It's not a complicated system at all. Except for, it kinda is. If you go into the actual mechanics of like the capture system when you throw the Pokeballs at the Pokemon, it's a whole mathematic equation that's just a mess. And I don't know if anyone memorizes it. But the core mechanics, the battle mechanics, the types, you figure it out all through just playing it. If you don't know the Pokemon you're fighting, it's a little trial and error. But I think that's the same of any JRPG, really. And yeah, these games are for kids. They're not especially difficult. And if I white out at all, I would be surprised. I'm relatively good at least the older Pokemon games. Mostly because I've played them before. Like, when I was a kid, I had Red, Blue, and Yellow. And I beat all 3 of them. I beat Red and Blue. I sunk a lot of time into Red and Blue, and then I got Yellow, and I beat it within the first 24 hours I got it, because I just played it like throughout a weekend or something, or Saturday, and just played it through and beat it. And it was kind of sad, actually, because I was expecting more. I was expecting it to be more different than it was. It's not at all different. But it's still fun, and it is the better version of the 3, I guess. It has slight differences. It looks better. I think you can catch more of the Pokemon. So, for those, again, who don't know, they released Red and Blue as effectively the same game, but there were exclusive Pokemon you could only get in each version, and in order to acquire the ones that aren't in the version you have, you'd have to trade with somebody via a link cable on your Game Boy. And Yellow, I don't think it has all of them. I think you also still have to trade a few, but it has fewer exclusives, or fewer non-exclusives, ones that are in the other games and you can get here. Fewer that you cannot acquire. I believe. I haven't looked it up, but that's what I seem to recall. And then it has a few other special things. For instance, in the original, you'd have to choose between one of 3 starters, a Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander. In this one, if you talk to the right people, you can acquire all 3 of them, plus your starter Pikachu. That's really good, because in the other ones, you can't acquire those Pokemon without trading from a different version. So it's that sort of thing. There's some anime references in this, to the, like, Season 1 of the Pokemon anime. Jesse and James show up in this. Your rival in this looks more like Gary. Professor Oak looks more like his anime counterpart. More so than I remember Red and Blue having, anyway. If I'm wrong about that, then I guess I'm wrong about that. On the way up, we don't have any Pokeballs right now, so we can't capture anyone, so we're just making them faint, essentially killing them, lowering their HP to 0. Pikachu only has 1 attacking attack, that's Thunder Shock. His other attack is Growl, which lowers their attack stat. The stats in this game, are Attack, Defense, Speed, and Special. Special covers certain elemental attacks, so Thunder's Bolt, or Lightning attacks, Thunder attacks. Can't remember if the type is Lightning or Thunder, I assume it's some Thunder. Goes under Special and not Attack, whereas like Normal type, Rock type, more physical-based things use the Attack and Defense stat. In later generations, they switched this to Special, also having a Special Attack, Special Defense. And then in further later generations, they made the difference not based on type, but based on essentially whether or not you physically hit the other person, or if you use something to hit them. So like if you use Tackle, that would count as a physical attack. You would use your attack stat. But if it's Thunderbolt, it would be a special. Doesn't matter in this game. It's way more basic. Does change the effectiveness of some Pokemon, and it makes some really weird to use. Some Pokemon have weird attacks that are useless in the newer games, but actually effective in this one. That's more a competitive thing, but c'est la vie. We may have to use some of them. We may employ some of those stats, or techniques. So see, this is the shop. I bought some Pokeballs so that we could catch some Pokemon. Pikachu is very good, but not good against the first gym, which is a Rock-type gym. This is the Pokemon Center. It, for free, will heal all of your Pokemon to 100% health, get rid of status ailments, etc. It's very handy. I go there a lot. And this is also where I'm going to end most of the episodes, so that's basically it. I will see you guys next time, we'll catch some Pokemon.